and what does it mean for the future with these two parties?
I didn't learn anything as far as like new, because this is just another battle of dissension, disagreement between these two sides. Because since the offseason, Giannis has essentially informed the Bucks, I feel the time is now for us to move on. The Bucks obviously have felt differently. They wanted to give it another go. They obviously tried again to compete and win this year, and it obviously has not worked out that way. Now they're at a point in the calendar where Giannis has had 5 separate injuries this year, and they have asked him to shut down. They want him to shut down. They feel it's best for him. It's best for the team, obviously, to prioritize his health, a higher draft pick. They're already losing with him, so why jeopardize his future? But Giannis wants to play basketball, and that's kind of the risk reward. When they decided to keep him at the deadline, they knew he did not want to shut down. He wanted to play. And now that point in the season has come where it probably, for the team makes more sense if he shuts down. But he has told them, he's refused. He said, I don't care what you guys feel. I want to play again this season. And he's aiming to be back, whether it's in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and play the rest of the season. But for me, this is just another tale. This is just another moment where these two sides just have not been on the same page. And it's obviously going to leave a lot of questions going into the offseason.
Would you describe this as contentious, or could it get contentious? Because it seems like both sides are pretty dug in on their position here.
Michelle, there's a lot of words I think you can use for this situation. I think you can use, there's a T word I think you can use in this.
Tense?
Tense is one. Keep going, Michelle.
Tense.
Keep going.
Tense.
T word.
Keep going.
Toxic?
I think in a way. I think in a way it's been, there's been sometimes mixed messages maybe behind the scenes. There's been, like there's moments like, okay, we're gonna, the team telling the player, we could win a championship now. Like like Giannis was sold coming into the year on championship contention. That's what John Horst, the Bucks general manager, the coach Doc Rivers, told Giannis, told ownership. And so when you set those expectations going into the year, and they've been in 11th place most of the season, and so they have a lot of questions long term that they have to figure out. But obviously the Giannis one looms large, and I think over the course of last summer and now they just have not. This is a partnership over the course of 12 years that's been pretty solid. They've been on the same page. No one knows Giannis without talking about the Bucks. No one talks about the Bucks without talking about Giannis. They're one and the same. And so to see them now at the point where they just have not been able to get on the same page about winning, about the future, about him, it's going to lead to a lot of questions.
So what you said there about them selling Giannis on championship contention is so wild to me, because anybody who looked at this roster knew this roster was not competing for a championship. So pardon me if I don't feel bad for Giannis for being sold a used car when the muffler was hanging off of it. But in terms of the end of this thing, where do you see it going? Like, how do you see this ending? And could this possibly be something where it can be, as toxic as it is, like a peaceful transition where Giannis goes to another squad?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to know exactly how this goes, because technically he is contract extension eligible on October 1st, 4 years, $275 million. But I think the moment the season ends, there's going to be more hard conversations between these two sides, and the Bucks internally have a lot to figure out with their own stuff, and internally they're going to have to figure that out, and then it's going to lead to more conversations with their star player. But they have open conversations on trades last summer where they talked to the Knicks for a period of a couple weeks. This season, they talked to Minnesota, Miami, Golden State, multiple other teams. They sifted through multiple offers. They made counter offers. Offers were made. So it's not like it would be new news if they suddenly this offseason in June and July, as we get close to the draft, open it up again. I think it would behoove them not to see what else is out there. That's part of the reason why you wait into the offseason. You see, can you get any better in a trade? And so, I think everyone around the NBA is expecting that there's going to be more conversations here. This is not the end of the Giannis trade situation by any means.
Shams, what's interesting about all of this is, I want to be clear. When you were reporting this around the deadline, at no point did you say he was going to be traded. That never happened, right? I never personally felt like he was going to be traded around the deadline. And so now I look at this situation and I say, why don't they just let him play if he wants to play? Because they don't technically control their own pick. They get the worst pick between theirs and the Pelicans. So there's all these other things. I've now gotten to the point that I wonder, for me, not your reporting, for me, I wonder if this is the first time they actually may consider actually moving him for real, because of the fact him getting, God forbid, hurt helps them. Because they give him the 4 years, $275. He's going to have to say yes if he's, God forbid, hurt in these next few weeks. I'm not even projecting that. But them keeping him healthy means they can extract the most value out of everyone. Like, how do you, like, some of the logic by Giannis and the Bucks together doesn't align here for me. How do you look at this situation?
No, I mean, I think a lot of this has been just you like, what is the goal here? Like,
right.
What is everyone trying to accomplish? And I've had other teams tell me, like, okay, let's say you do get Giannis into the offseason and get him to October 1, and at that point it's like, would he begrudgingly be signing an extension? And it's right? Like you're doing it just for the money. But then, even if this year's essentially a lost year for Giannis,
right.
It's a lost year for the Bucks. Next year they're gonna have a few more draft picks. They can make more moves, but it's very hard with their collection of players. They don't have the high level tradable contracts. They've got 3 first-round picks. Are you gonna mortgage all your picks essentially again to go get talent that, even if you bring in an upgrade? Jaren Jackson Jr. just went for 3 first-round picks. Desmond Bane just went for, I think, 4. Mikal Bridges went for 5. Let's say you trade your 3 for a player of that ilk, and you trade away, Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma. Let's say you bring in Jaren Jackson Jr. Are you then becoming an Eastern Conference favorite if you're Milwaukee? Like, I think those are the questions that they're asking themselves. And if the answer is no, then the question is, then what are you doing? In Milwaukee. And I think everyone around the league is like, okay, you're holding him, but like, what is the end goal? He wants to win a championship. And so, yeah, I mean, at the deadline, the reporting was that he's ready to move on.
Right.
And he remains ready to move on. That hasn't changed from last offseason to the start of this season to when I reported that. And they were listening to trade conversations. From there, the Bucks listened and they made the decision that they wanted to keep this into the summer.
Shams, another team that wants to win a championship, and that looks like they could be closer to that because of new roles, are the LA Lakers. And that new role is obviously LeBron James. We're seeing him, a different version of himself with this team. I'm fascinated at how they arrived at this because it's obviously resulting in wins and team success. Take us behind the scenes a little bit with JJ Redick, the Lakers, maybe some conversations that led to LeBron James being a different version of himself to fit into this basketball puzzle that we're seeing.
JJ Redick is as direct of a coach as you're going to find. Like, he wears his heart on his sleeve. And I think LeBron James missed a game March 5th. He played March 5th, then he sat out a week. Then he played again on March 12th. And when I talk to people around there, they felt like those couple games that he missed, a few games that he missed, it was an opportunity for him to observe, to essentially have a renewed perspective on this team. Luka Doncic was going off during that week off. Austin Reeves was going off during that week off. And then he just came in and he slid right in, and the role that he's played, essentially he's been in the dunker spot, he's slashing, he's cutting, he's playing in the corner, he's diving headfirst for loose balls.
Right.
Like, this is the type of effort that at 41 years old, to me, shows self-awareness of who he is as a player. No one knows himself better than LeBron as far as his mind, his body, how he wants to play, how to win in the NBA. And so if it's going to take him going 13 for 14 one night with 30 points, he's going to do that. If it takes him having 15, 7, and 7 the other night, like, he's shown clearly that he's willing to do it. And so I think now the Lakers, and JJ Redick said it, they feel like LeBron James is their 3rd highest used player. That's where he's best at. That's where they're best at. And so he's embraced it. Luka and Austin Reeves obviously playing, MVP and All-Star caliber ball respectively. And so I think there's no better time than now for the Lakers to be peaking and to find out their form and exactly how they're going to thrive with those 3 guys knowing their roles. And then everything else, then the rest of the role players have to step up now if this team is going to potentially make a run to the Western Conference Finals in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Shams, on the other side of the spectrum, I don't know if you know that Smalls went courtside to the Nets game.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Everybody knows. Come on now.
Yeah, rub elbows with fellow celebrities and all that stuff.
It's massive news in New York.
You didn't break it, though.
That's why
I was waiting for the tweet.
Actually, he was covering that.
So Smalls came in this morning talking about how she could possibly be on the Nets bandwagon. She wants to get in early with the Nets, right? They're kind of like cratering right now. Can you give us some prospects on what the next few years of her sports fandom could look like following the Nets? Give her a little hope here.
Well, I'm an optimistic person. So next season, I believe they have a swap right pick. I think it's with Houston. So they don't really have the incentive to just go and tank or to lose games on purpose for a higher draft pick, because then that high pick is going to Houston. And so I think it behooves them not to make upgrades around the team. And I do think when you look at what they have, they're going to have almost $50 million in cap space this summer. They have dozens of first-round picks, dozens of ton of swaps, dozens of second-round picks. They have the ability, if they want, to go get players, get multiple star players. Now, you're probably not looking at that route because you still want to build the right way. You don't want to mortgage all your draft picks for a couple of players that might not fit. But if they find those players that do fit that timeline of being early to mid-20s, those guys are hard to find. But I think their flexibility allows them, I think, over the next 3 to 5 years to get back to the point where, let's remember, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving chose the Brooklyn Nets in 2019. They wanted to play there. They wanted the culture of Brooklyn. And, so they've shown some proof of concept of going out and being able to attract stars. Now it's just they have to do it again, and they have a little bit more asset pool to play with this time around.
Allow
So
Michelle
I could be
Smallman.
getting in at the right time.
Yeah, there you are.
So I don't know, Dennis. How did I do? Did I sell you? Forget Smalls. I think she's already sold. I think she's already hooked on.
I think
Nets bandwagon.
maybe if I got to hang out with Smalls, be courtside with her, maybe I'll believe in the Nets too. But right here from Atlanta, Georgia, don't really see it. But hey, maybe in a couple years I'll be proving.
Well, Atlanta's doing 11 in a row, by the way, for the Hawks. Last thing here with Shams Charania, ESPN senior NBA insider, along with Michelle Smallman, David Dennis Jr., Evan Cohen with you. Does the NBA know right now? You reported this week about Vegas and Seattle. Does the NBA know who's going to own those teams? We don't. Do they?
No. This is going to be a bidding.
This is really an open bidding war.
This is going to be a bidding. Now, again, does Adam Silver have stuff that I don't know about or people that I speak to aren't privy of? Sure, that's a possibility. But as of right now, I think there's a full expectation that this will be an open bidding process. Next week's, there's a vote on March 25th to essentially start the process of getting applications, getting bids, and all of that. And it's on Las Vegas. It's on Seattle. Those are the two teams that they would be bringing in, 32-team league. And everyone I talk to believes this vote's a formality. It just gives the league permission to go out there in the marketplace and explore. And I think they're going to get a bunch of interest, a ton of bidders. And, I think the expectation is somewhere in that $7 to $10 billion range for each of those teams. And so
LeBron being a part of one of the groups potentially?
LeBron James said last night he is not in the mix for ownership in this expansion round, and he said not at all when he was asked about Las Vegas. So cross him off the list. I think Magic Johnson came out publicly and said he wants Las Vegas. There's going to be many more that are going to come out and say they want Seattle or Vegas, and so it's going to be a very interesting process for me to track over the next, I think, 4, 5, 6 months. And I think by the end of 2026, the NBA wants to know their best bids, the best offers, who they want to move forward with. And then essentially, if they get to that $7 to $10 billion range, Stephen A. said on First Take on Monday, I believe it was, he said they're getting $10 billion each for Seattle and Las Vegas. And I said, Stephen A., if they're getting $10 billion each, expansion is 100% happening, and every owner in the NBA is going to be thrilled because that means everyone's valuation is skyrocketing.
And they don't care if they score 24 points in the first half of a game at that point.
Yeah, right.
Shams Charania, ESPN NBA insider, senior insider, tremendous stuff as always. You'll see him on Get Up, First Take as well here in New York. And of course, you always see me around True Green in my lawn as they're in my